Um, so we're here to learn, right? And is there anything in particular that either of you or any of you want to get out of today's webinar? Any questions? Please use your chat box now so we can make sure to address those.
Yeah, our goal is to provide value in really any way you see value. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask. It's a safe environment. If we don't know, we'll get back to you and get the correct answer. So we'll tell you if we know, and we'll tell you if we don't know. Either way, if we don't know, we'll find out. All right. Oh.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. This is the seminar or webinar for selling in uncertain times, right? We're kind of going through this weird period the past first quarter. But anyways, we are your presenters today, Dan Ihara, the CEO of our company, and I myself. And also we have Carrie on as well, who is a client care manager. So I'm sure many of you have already had the pleasure of speaking with him. But welcome. Let's get started.
All right.
Okay, I guess some of the burning questions, right? I mean, in this market right now, who is actually selling?
Yeah, what we're finding, Tiff, is we see when folks are passed on, the trustees are selling, successor trustees are selling, oftentimes due to a death or somebody moving out. We're also seeing a lot of folks downsizing as well, right? Going from a large house to a condo or even to retirement communities. And then interestingly enough, we actually have 3 clients today that we're actually selling to upsize. These are folks that, you know, got a promotion. One's now a sergeant in the police force. Hats off to the blue and white there for all they do. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of folks that are seeing this as a great opportunity, right? We're at the, kind of at the peak of this current market, and you'll see the trending as we go forward. And some are using it to pay for healthcare, right? As we get older, they go to a care home, but then, you know, the house is empty. You know, how are we paying for care, right? And oftentimes it comes from the sale of the home. Then, unfortunately, you know, we're going to see a lot more divorce cases. Data shows that that's on the rise, unfortunately, due to the close proximity we have to be with each other, right? I guess that could be a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's a great thing. I love my
Is that because Julie's on here? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And some are relocating, right? Military. Some are moving out. Some are leaving the islands for different reasons, right? And then some are actually using it as a 1031 exchange. Those who have investment properties, who are trying to increase the, the performance of their assets, the quality of their portfolio, maybe relocating their asset. All of these reasons are why we're seeing a lot of people selling. Because you know, people always ask us, well, how's the market? Like, how do you actually do business during this time? And fortunately, in our world, people are selling and buying because of life changes. And guess what? That's never going to stop, right? We all have life changes, and you know, unfortunately, good or bad, we're here to serve and provide that solution they need.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I guess with all those questions in mind, I'm sure people are also wondering, you know, should I sell or is it an option to rent? I mean, right? What should I do?
Yeah, Tiff, you're right. I mean, we get that question often, you know, and in most cases, the really question is, I don't know. And I don't know because it depends on why you're doing that. Now, if you're selling for a reason that makes sense, then yeah, maybe you just should sell versus rent. Now, there are some folks saying, well, I don't know if I really want to sell, maybe I should rent. Now, that's a different conversation where we can investigate and do some research for you to see if that makes sense, right? Oftentimes, young folks who are trying to sell to buy up and they want to keep their house as an investment property, financially, it just didn't make a lot of sense to do that. Actually, sometimes, most of the time, it's not possible, right? Because of the debt-to-income ratio. So, oftentimes, they will end up selling. But there are times that it makes sense just to keep it rented, right? And the way we determine that is we take a look at it. If you're moving out of your house, it now that asset is no longer a primary residence home. So we have to see that asset differently.
Right.
The way we see it differently is it's an investment property. Well, how do we look at investment properties? We're looking on its return on its investment, or maybe even doing a cash-on-cash analysis based on that. But obviously, we're going to always run the cap rate and see if there's basically, if you took that asset and you sold it and bought something else over here, would this asset now outperform this current one? Meaning in that on the month-to-month cash flow and income, would that make sense? And if it does, you know, that oftentimes would lead somebody to sell into a 1031 exchange.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really going to be, I think it comes down to just analyze, if that's going to be your goal for investment, does it make sense with the numbers? Can you see can you find something else that could perform even better for you, right?
Yeah.
We
have to investigate that, right?
Yeah. Okay, another great question that you know, we have people asking us, you know, is it now the time, given the, you know, the temperature and what's going on, should we sell now or should we wait?
Yeah, you know, it's so funny that right before this class, I was talking to a financial planner, and we're helping their client. They're thinking of selling, and their question was, well, maybe we should wait until after this COVID. I go, after? Do we know what that's going to look like?
Right.
After, right? And when's that going to be? So another way to look at it is, let's take a look at trends, right? Let's look at what's happened over time, because what we know is real estate goes into cycles, right? There's trends to this. So here's some data from Oahu. This is median sell prices back from 1987 to now. And what you're going to see in the late 80s, this huge growth here, right? From 87 to 90, just a matter of 3 years, that asset grew enormously from like 165 all the way up to like 3.25, right? What happened after the peak? It took a bit of a slide. Now, it kind of leveled off. So you notice that we didn't drop through the roof. We kind of took a bit of a dip. But this dip actually this recession took 14 years to recover.
Right.
So if you look at selling your house in 1990 at the peak, to get that same value, you likely would have to wait till 2004, based on this data, right? Well, what happened after this? Well, 2000 to 2007, we saw the largest creation of wealth in America, right? And that asset grew 20 to 35% every single year, year over year over year for 7 years. What happened after the peak of 07? Well, we saw the bit of a decline, right? This was a little bit more of a decline than the last one, yet not that extreme. You know, many of my friends on the mainland, their markets in Arizona and Florida, Nevada, they lost 40, 50, even 60% of value during this time period, right here. Yeah. We lost 7%, right? And only now are they getting back to their peak. Well, we passed our peak, right? Mm-hmm. We kept rising, and this screen keeps in the way. And we kept rising and rising, right? And we just peaked out in January of 2019. It was the very first time we saw a decrease of values year over year, first time ever. Over pretty close to 10 years. Look at this growth period, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years of capital appreciation in that asset, right? And the reason why we show this to young folks is real estate, the wealth in real estate is built over time, right? It's not a tomorrow I'm going to make money. It's how your cash is going to perform and how it's going to grow and how your passive income will grow and your capital appreciation will grow over time. Well, what happened after the peak? We're going to start to see a bit of a decline. Now, I'm not an economist, although I read a bit of what's going on in the news. I'm just a person that lives in Hawaii and is observant to what's going on. And I'm a surfer, and I surf in Diamond Head, and I go to Waikiki a lot. And when has Waikiki ever been this empty, right? Tiff, you walk through Waikiki, right?
It's pretty unreal. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're in Hawaii anymore. Yeah, it's scary.
Mm-hmm. That's our biggest engine of income, right? Mm-hmm. The tourist industry. Well, what happens over time? Well, what will happen is, hey, thank goodness the government stepped in, right? They helped out with some unemployment. You know, some people are getting $600 a week, right? Right? To not work. that's a whole different conversation. But, and they're coming in with forbearance programs, right, to help people. Well, at the first sign of that, that sounds amazing. The challenge comes is that really the solution that'll help people get out of their problem? The answer is probably not. I mean, imagine 6 months from now, your husband, and this is really common, right? Husband and wife met at the hotel or met at the restaurant, fell in love, got married, had kids, right? This is their journey. They bought a condo. Both of them now, both used to have 2 jobs each. Both of them don't have 8 jobs.
Yeah.
And now what happens? You got to feed the kids. You got to take care of your family. And then at some point in 6 months later, the bank's going to say you have a couple options. You can pay us off, or you will help you restructure it for the next 24 months, or we're going to restructure your entire loan. Or here's another one that I heard one of the bankers tell me last week was, you know what, maybe we'll give you another 6 months of forbearance. You know, that's like saying, here, take this shovel and just make it a little bigger so you can dig my hole a little bigger.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't, this is not a laughing matter. This is very, very serious. And it's really, really unfortunate. The fact of the matter is, we're likely going to see a larger increase in inventory, right? We're going to see that. And there's going to be greater, distressed properties showing up over time. Maybe not as much as the last cycle, though we're going to start seeing that. Yeah. So if you're thinking of selling, we're telling folks sooner is better than later, because we know what happens in economy, right? It's all about supply and demand. Well, demand's here, right? And supply is really low now, so the prices will stay high. When supply rises, right, and demand's the same, what happens to prices? Yeah. Prices will tend to dip a bit.
Yes. And it's data shows it, right? Like as you mentioned before, it's the cycle of things. It's a cycle. And we're coming down, we're coming at to the dip here. So unless you can afford to hang on to it, for the next, maybe 7-10 years, Dan, is kind of what the cycle is telling us. Right. Hang on to it. But if you can't, if you have these life changes happening for you, right? Relocation, you're upsizing, you have new kids. Now it's sooner than is better than later, for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. Now, like we have a couple properties that I know we're going to hold on for more than 10 years, so we're not intending to sell them. Mm-hmm. Though many folks, that's just not an option. Right?
Yes.
They're going to have to do that. And if you're looking at timing, look at the trends, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3 years from now, we're going to look back at the same data, and this is the part of the market we're going to be in, right? Yeah. Right. That's the part of the market. Or if you think about it this way, right after the peak, we're going to be here. Mm-hmm. We're going to be here. What we don't know is how long it'll last.
Yes.
Right. We know the direction it'll likely go. This was 14 years. This was 7. Maybe this next one's going to be 5 or 10. Who knows?
And I'm glad you're bringing that up, because really we don't have a crystal ball, right, Dan? So the question posed back to you guys is, what does your crystal ball say? I mean, can you kind of maybe type in the chat what you think is going to start happening, in the next year, in the next 5 years? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. What's the market going to do?
What will the market do?
I'm just one person that happens to do, I got my head into this real estate game a bit. And we really don't know.
Question marks. I like that, May. That's funny. Yeah, it's the truth. We don't know with certainty. Yeah. But we can kind of, and like Helene is saying, you can just look at data and have a pretty good estimation, educated guess. But yeah, that's great. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Dan, let's talk about COVID. Let's talk about this nice, itchy looking ball. Ugh, I don't know. I forget what it's called, but how people get the heebie-jeebies when they see small little things? Yeah.
Well, that's the question they ask us, right, Tiff and Carrie? And, can you guys, how do you do your job, right? What is the industry doing during this time, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, having a strategy and creating one, right? So do you have one? If this is something that you are considering doing, do you have a strategy already? And if you don't, would you like to know how to create one?
Yeah. So we try to make this simple, and it's really there's a couple of points that we know are crucial. One is really understanding your situation of why you're doing what you're doing, buying, selling, or whatever you're doing. The other is really identifying like what's going to get in your way. What are the challenges? What will prevent you from being successful? Right? We want to lift those things up, and so we know that we're going to make sure that those don't get in our way. Then we're going to clarify our goals. Let's be really clear why we're doing what we're doing and what the end result's going to look like when we're done. Because if we have clarity in our goal, it'll help us get there faster and easier. And then based on that, now that we know what our goal is, like, okay, what are the options? What are the paths to take? Right? That's the part that is often the most interesting and most fun. Is there's more than one way to get there, right? You think about it, there's tons of ways to get to your goal. Well, let's start looking at what the options are, and that's what we're really good at, is trying to help, right? Tiff's amazing at investment properties and finding solutions for stuff.
I mean, it's really your journey, right? And that's what we're here to do, is to listen to what your goals are and to help you determine, the best route to do that. So it's providing you with the information needed to suit your journey. So we're here to support that.
Yeah. And just creating a plan and a calendar, really a timetable, and then executing on the things that need to be done. We're currently helping 4 clients now that are renovating their units, taking it from concept to strategy and concept to estimates to vendors to fixtures that we were talking about earlier. Right, the fine tuning, how do you make that thing look really shine for the least amount of cost, right? And thanks to Tiff, and Tiff's to her interior design eye is amazing. We've done this, I don't know how many dozens of times we've done this, Tiff, but and over time, every time we do that, we learn, right? We get better and better, and it's just fun. It's fun to do, and then just execute on it, right? It's
a fun process, and I love working with the clients to kind of make that come to fruition. So it really is enjoyable.
Yeah, it's really cool. All right.
So what is this process, Dan, that we're talking about? What does it look like?
Well, it usually starts with making it look as good as you can, right? Which could include creating curb appeal, could include painting and flooring. Oftentimes it will require decluttering, meaning the personal items, right? Getting rid of stuff. We own a Declutter Hawaii, which is the only real formal declutter company in the market. Not only just throwing away trash, but sorting and everything. And then, renovating kitchens and baths and paint and flooring and staging. And then, creating a plan and a schedule. So we have a whole division of specialists in our organization that does just this, right? This is a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. This is a lot of work. That's why most people don't want to do this. But it's fun because we do it so much that it's our way of allowing us to share our creativity, right, Tiff?
Yeah.
It drives us.
Yeah.
It's fun. So my role is as a listing specialist is to strategize and plan, right? Create a strategy and identify who that buyer is likely going to be and how do we appeal to them, and then oversee all the aspects of the entire process from the journey of beginning to the end. And then just using 15 years of experience to know ahead of time what things are going to happen before they happen, and prevent challenges from showing up as much as possible. And then our listing managers, Chris over there, young man there, smiling. He's got a great smile, doesn't he?
He does. And he always has that smile on. I think it's
right? Yeah. So funny. Everybody loves Chris. Anyways, he coordinates and manages the vendors with his whole team. He's got a team of people that fine tune all these details. We get the property ready for sale. We help manage the staging and the photography and launch the global marketing. And then he schedules all the showings, and we get weekly feedback on anybody who has shared an interest or any actually seen the property. And then at the end, our chief negotiator, what we do is we advocate the best price and terms. This is Kaleo Fong. We're quite not sure. His wife is giving birth any day now. I think she's due in end of the month, I think, but first one. So we don't know, but we'll pray for him as a brand new father. But yeah, he's an attorney on our staff and amazing human being, great guy to help us navigate from once we get to the offer all the way to closing.
Yes.
That we've trained. So what we do is we want to get the best price and best terms. The way we do that is we do some due diligence and we ask a lot of questions to the seller's agent, but also to the lender to find out the motivation of the buyer, his ability to buy, so forth. Okay. And then you
And
get, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I just wanted to, go back to lift up Chris again. You guys will see later on in a few slides coming up, the process before going to market. It's a lot of stuff. And Chris handles all of it. I mean, it's so much coordination. I don't know how he does it. I mean, I would go crazy, but he's so good at his job and he is always just so easy to work with. So I just wanted to kind of lift him up.
Thank you.
Second, yeah.
You know, in our world, it takes certain personalities to do certain things, right?
Yeah.
Tiff, she's got the interior design eye. She's our stager as well, right? So she shines in that area. You know, I can't even put a pot down in the right place, right? So
I'll tell you,
it's not my skill set, right?
The other day, right? I'm like, no, Dan, no.
No. I defer.
Yes, that's not cute, Dan.
That is not my skill set, right? And Chris, he's extremely detailed, right? And he's very, very detailed. And there's a lot of details going on that are involved in that role. So the team concept obviously provides a higher level of service than most would get. And here's some fun before and after pictures, right? Before, this was an old house. We had it painted. We cleared out the yard, dressed it up a bit. This house actually didn't really have a kitchen. It was a concrete floor. We threw a carpet on. It was really bad, but we got buyers to show up, right? And so the goal is to make sure that whatever buyers are seeing, because ladies and gentlemen, they're shopping on their cell phone today, right? They're shopping on their iPads, on their computers. And our goal is to make that property look as good as possible. That's what people are going to get there. And especially now with COVID, right? Not as many people are actually looking at homes as much. They're looking first on the computer and their cell phone.
Yes.
Imagine this one. Imagine going to this house as a listing with a sign on the ground. You're seeing all this mold and mildew and all this trash and deferred maintenance. Versus this home. Clean, cute, right? Brings a different feeling in it.
First impressions.
Yeah, 100%, right? And what we're finding is, these young families who are buying these homes, they're usually kind of stretched already, and then they think, well, gosh, I can't live here, then I guess I can't buy it because I don't know who's going to fix it. I don't know how much it's going to cost, Husband and wife walk in the house. Who makes the decision of buying the home?
Is that a real question?
My wife does. Absolutely.
Yeah. What are the two most important rooms in the house?
The kitchen and the closet. Sorry, I mean the bathroom.
for Tiffany, it's a shoe closet to be specific.
Yes.
Yeah, right? So if we know who the buyers are, then we have to put our efforts towards that. Right? This was an old bathroom. It was in Royal Summit. Nicer area, big bathroom, but it looked dated. All we did is we glazed it and painted the cabinets. And we staged it, made it look good, right? Staging can make a big difference. An empty room with no energy can have good energy and feel to it, right? So yeah, because of COVID, right, we had to pivot, right, Tiff? I mean, our world changed, and we changed, and our team, Carrie, and the marketing team put together this amazing technology-based environment that's physically enhanced, right? Because we can't see each other. We got to stay 6 feet apart, right? We got to wear a mask, all that stuff. And so, but everyone's got one of these, and everybody's on it all the time, and they got time to look at it, right? So what we did is we had to make sure that we upped our game in a lot of areas. One area was the photography, the drone work, We started doing agent-guided virtual tours, right? When there were no open houses, remember there was a time, what was it, like 2 months we did this? I can't
It's
remember.
about 2 months, yeah, of doing virtual open
I
houses.
remember the day they said no open houses, within the next week, we had our team were the first agent-guided virtual tour open houses, and which was monitored. Carrie and the team and just did a fabulous job sharing information and allowing people to ask questions. People said, "Hey, could you open the door?" We opened the door for them, kind of things like that.
It was really kind of cool. I like that.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool to get people's, helping them out through that journey without, while they're on their couch, right?
Right. Exactly.
Then we did a lot of private showings, right? So our marketing strategy, obviously, we do everything what everybody else does up here. We have a big social media team. Actually, it's run by our son, who is driving social media exposure to our listings. And then what we also do, which is fairly unique in Hawaii, is our agents, we actually prospect for buyers. We actually look and call for them, call the neighbors. We actually, we used to do door knocking. We don't do as much of that. But we do what we do call circle prospecting, which is calling the neighbors to see if they know if anybody wants to buy in the neighborhood. So we're very aggressive. We're not going to wait and just hope and pray somebody shows up. Right. We're going to go out and flesh out those buyers. And then there's this thing called reverse prospecting. Once we get into the market, we actually will know the MLS system now allows us to know who had put a search parameter which your property falls within.
Right.
Right. And now we can call those agents to find out if they have an interest, letting them know that we know that their clients maybe have favorited it or maybe have viewed it, that kind of thing. So again, very forward-moving and proactive.
Yeah, talk about technology, yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, we didn't have all this before. And then we've got a huge database of people we're sending emails to. And the reason why that's important to you is because most of those are open house attendees, right? These are buyers that had come to one of our open houses. We have a lot of them. Like, how many do we have this week? 6, 7?
We have 5. We have 5 going this week, all over the island. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 all over the island today. Imagine all these people get into this database, and now we share your listing to them, right? As well as all the online searches. We send an email and an invitation to the top 1,500 realtors in the island because they have the most buyers. And then we have a bunch of advocates, connectors, people in the world where we call trusted advisors out there that we connect with. And then lastly, there's 350 websites that pretty much anywhere somebody's going to look for your property, they will find it. We have also this really cool system. Maybe Carrie, can you chime in? Carrie helped instrument this. People were so sensitive, and we are very sensitive, and we want to be respectful for people, keep everybody safe. But we had to figure out how do we create a touchless system. So just last week, we did something.
Yeah, we pivoted hard during the week. That was really interesting, right? We want to keep everyone safe. So we want to keep you as a seller safe, the people that are coming, prospective buyers, and our team as well. And so really when you're coming in and there's other things, but I think what we've really done is just put your smartphone over this little QR code, let it scan, and what happens, a little window pops up that says, hey, go to this website, or web page pops up, and it's a virtual open house flyer. And so really you're signing in, that form that you see pops up, it'll say, put your name. If you're working with an agent, put that name down and who's with you, right? And again, just a matter of being able to connect. And then under that form, that sign-in form is your listing. It's straight from the MLS, a carousel of pictures. They'll be able to view that. And the cool thing, right, they'll be able to go home and view that at home with them anytime they wanted to. It's like, oh, remember that bathroom? That was cute. And then let me pull that up. And under your listing is neighborhood-specific trends, right? And that's a little different out there, because if you just use any old search tool and you type in 96822, you'll get some data. right? But really, when you look at real estate in 96822, you're going to have Makiki is very different than Manoa, Kentlands, right? And all these different areas. So underneath that your listing will have the neighborhood trends for that specific area and neighborhood. It's really cool stuff. Really valuable for the buyer, for you as a seller to know as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody's loving this new technology now.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Well, and in the protection part, there's actually a declaration we asked them to sign off on, right? I can't remember there's 3 or 4 questions, Gary.
We're just right now we're being sensitive. We're asking, hey, you know, have you traveled recently? Have you had contact with somebody that did travel? You know, how are you feeling right now, right? And but really just allowing us to make sure, hey, people coming in saying that they're feeling okay, you can feel confident that those things are in place, right? And at least that way we have and able to reach out and connect should we have to.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say that if we had to, we would be able to kind of track back and notify people if anything should happen.
Yeah, you never know what happens in this world, but at least we're taking it seriously. And you know, I think our goal in our organization is one, protect everybody, the client, the visitor, and our associates, our team members, right? And I think this system allows us to as much protection as that's acceptable, pretty much.
Right.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So then, let's say we find the right buyer. They submit an offer, and your offer gets accepted. Woo! Congratulations!
Congratulations!
So then the other part of the work starts, right?
Yes.
Now what we do is we have a process between identifying, you know, what the buyer's motivation is, right? And do they have the financial ability to close on the transaction? So there's a whole process that we take very seriously for every single offer that comes in, and there's a series of questions that we ask the buyer's agent and also the lender. Because our goal is to provide information to our sellers so that you can make a good decision. So the more information you have, the more intelligence you have, the greater your opportunities to make a good, comfortable decision. Right? Then they review the offer, and you know it's really your decision. You know, we're going to guide you through. Here's some suggestions. Here's what could go good and bad with both of these, and there's good and bad with everything.
Yeah.
There's risk involved, right? It's never, you know, rainbows and unicorns all the time. Sometimes there's a little rain out there. That's how we get those rainbows.
That's the important thing is, right, going through each offer, assuming you have multiple offers, and just kind of going over the risks. Because each offer can be written different. It's not only the price, it's the terms. And you're going to want to know the background of the buyer if possible. And that will kind of give you an insight as to what are the potential risks that could go wrong in escrow, right?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think over the last 15 years, one of the things I did learn over 1,000 or so transactions is a lot of it's psychology, right? Real estate, believe it or not, a lot of that's psychology. And it's really based on the motivation of the parties, motivation of the seller and the motivation of the buyer. Well, when you get a purchase contract, it's just numbers and words on a piece of paper. There's no motivation there. So unless you dig deep, unless you do what we do, there's no way to know the real motivation, right? And we know over the years that can make the world of it can make a successful sale or not one. It can make a horrible transaction or not one, right?
Absolutely.
And we've had them all, so know that we've learned from failure.
All right.
Doing it more. Right?
Yeah. Congratulations, you're in escrow. Now, how long does this part take?
Yeah, so typically it's about 45 days, right? Typically. We're not going to go into the high level detail of this, but basically this blue section here, this is before you get an offer. The green set portion is once you get an offer. And this is really, there's probably about 10 times more detail that we do in our steps. But if you think about it, we meet, we create a strategy, we take care of some paperwork, then we get the home ready, we launch the marketing, we do a 10-day blitz, which is part of our marketing. We get the offer and counter it, then we get an acceptance. And then we walk you through all these steps. And what you get is every week what's going to happen next.
Mhm.
So one of the things that we have done that was very important to us is communication. So you'll get at least 2 to 3 or more pieces of communication from us every single week. So, every single week. And it's really about what's going to happen next. We want to
No,
make sure we
oh,
have.
I'm sorry, Dan. I was tripping out on this grid and all the. I'm a visual learner. I love this.
Yeah,
And the colors, and it guides you through it. And so as Dan was talking about communication, I think a big thing that Keller Williams is doing and we're helping our clients engage with is being that technology enhanced person. And so our mobile app allows you to communicate directly with your agent, and then it does have a really simplified version of this process and really allows you to go on this selling journey. I like this and you might not. It might be a lot of information. So it's a really simplified path on what happens in the selling process.
We lost your video or your
I
sound.
lost your audio.
Your audio for a little bit.
Oh, I lost my audio.
Now you're good.
Oh, okay. Well, it really just, I like this one and you might not. The app allows you to have a really simplified pathway
Sure.
from pre-escrow and getting set to sell to then having sold, right?
Yeah. And it keeps everyone on the same page because we have access to that too, right, guys? So it's like we're all on the same page. We're not skipping a beat. We're missing any steps.
Over 15 years, every day we add something, right? Every day we're refining the system, and what our goal was to do is how do we design an organization where we have systems and tools that provide predictable high level of service. Predictable, meaning we know what's going to happen because we've done this so much and we know what the next steps are. And that's why we do it. Now we're at a point where now we're communicating to our clients so that everyone's on the same page, so that it's very clear on where you're going. Most of the anxiety most sellers have is because they don't know what the future looks like. Right. And what we got better at is, and we're still improving, we got better at is sharing what that looks like, right? So if you know what's going to happen next, it's a lot easier to feel comfortable with the future. Right? So that's been working out good. Okay, I think we're almost wrapping up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you, most of you have been on this call and have heard me say this, but I'll say it for the video. So we started in real estate. I started real estate 15 years ago. My wonderful wife of 30 years, just 2 days ago, 14 years. And then we just built an organization over time with people who really care and people who work hard and people who do the right thing, and that's just been an amazing blessing for us, and really for our clients, right? I mean, we've been able to help people buy, sell. I was talking to a client yesterday. I said, you're the hero, and it's thank you for allowing us the journey, because this young couple, I met them before they got married. They got married. They had kids. We bought a place. Then we helped them sell it, then they bought a house, and helped them sell that, we're buying another house. We get along the journey of life, and what an amazing blessing it is to go to work knowing that you're helping somebody with their life, right? It's so rewarding, and you can't replace what we do. And yeah, so that's where our passion comes out. What we found over the years is that there's another need, which was property management, because we had a lot of investors that said, yeah, I want to buy investment property, but I don't want to manage it. Who's going to do that? And so what we did is we said, well, if we're going to be an expert in this area, we have to be the client. So what we did 6 years ago is we went to Texas and we said, we're going to start investing. We have a couple here. We had one here and we wanted to buy a couple more. But when we went to Texas, we first thing we did before we bought properties was I scoped the country, asked all my friends in the top 100 group, if I give you $100,000, what kind of return would I get? Long story short, we found that there's a city in north of Dallas that did well back then, and it's still doing well now. But before we invested, we said, let's go find the property manager first, right? So we interviewed the property manager, and they had the most amazing system. we could not believe how efficient it was, and the service level was outrageous. So we brought that to Hawaii, and that's now installed in High Property Management, whereby people will apply online. If there's a problem with the unit, they'll take a picture or video and post that on your portal. And then a repair request goes out. Basically, we take care of everything and we share everything with you, all from the access of your cell phone. So the technology is incredible. It just allows you to collect your money without going to the bank, basically. It goes right into your account. So all cool things. We started Stage Hawaii thanks to Tiffany Young over there, beautiful stager. We have a company now that for the most part serves most of our clients, but we do other agents as well.
Mm-hmm.
And are open to that. We'd love to serve and help when we can. We're so busy. Right, Tiff? Yeah, but we know that the way homes look matters, right? And so that's important. So Stage Hawaii was there. 10 years ago, we started a company called Senior Move Managers in Declutter Hawaii, because we found that we had a lot of older clients that were moving to a retirement community, though they couldn't do that because of their stuff, right? They got trapped by their own personal belongings. So 10 years ago, we started a company, first of its kind in the state of Hawaii. Actually, we're the only member of the National Association of Senior Move Managers. And my niece Cynthia runs it and does a fabulous job. We've helped over, I think, close to 800 families now, moving from their home to somewhere else. And lastly is Silver Spoons, which is a nonprofit designed to help older adults who are need help and are not financially able to support themselves in their home, to keep it safe, to declare it, to make it where they can stay in their state-supported housing, typically. Most of our clients have means. This is a population that is the unseen and without means. And we believe God's called us to help these folks. Yeah, it means a lot to us. Oh, shucks. Maybe that wrong? Here we go. Yeah, next time webinars are coming up soon.
Of course, as we mentioned, we're all about, education, and we want to share that knowledge with you. So we have some upcoming webinars for June. I don't know, are we still doing webinars in July, or are we shifting? I'm just curious for myself.
We probably will have some. We're gonna hopefully have some in-person ones if that's
I miss those.
No, right?
Yeah, we were just doing the open house on Sunday. I was like, this is nice to actually talk to people face to face. But anyways, so we have these upcoming June webinars scheduled. So on Saturday this is going to be an interesting one for people who are VA, the 5 biggest mistakes that veterans and military home buyers make. We have an amazing lender, Jody from Pac Rim, who's going to be helping us out with that. That's this Saturday. Our next 1031 exchange for those who are investors is June 25th. So that's next Thursday at 12 o'clock. And then the last one for June is going to be the following Saturday, 10 steps to buying a home, right? So you sell your house. Now you get to see the other side of the transaction, being a buyer, and all those things that we do for due diligence, serving our buyers.
Yes. All right. Well, wrapping up, many years ago, my wife, Julie, and I, we believe that we have a reason why we're here. And really it's to honor God by serving others with the highest level of competency, care, and compassion with uncompromising integrity. And what's really cool is that all these people in this picture, they live this. And you see it, and it's so cool to see. So cool. Carrie.
Awesome. Hey, well, we really appreciate you guys attending. And before we move into, as we wrap up and land the plane here for today, we did have a couple of questions I wanted to make sure that we covered. And, Dan, and that's okay, Tiff. It's the reality we are in, and we're all in the same boat, homeschooling our kids and everything going on. But hey, Dan and Tiffany, you know what? May asked a great question. If the buyer is not pre-qualified and really wants to buy the house, we discuss other options, maybe like seller financing.
Absolutely. This is a time where we can be creative. if that's something that you're interested in. Honestly, most folks aren't interested in seller financing, but there's a time and place for that. And we just closed one, I think last month, with an agreement of sale, maybe because it made sense on all parties. So yeah, know that if we can find a motivated buyer, then we try to remove the obstacles and helping you get to your goal.
Oh, another question that was in, Helene had asked about seeing more open houses and advertisements in the newspaper, and is that an indicator of maybe the market getting busy?
It's starting to, mainly because, to be honest with you, mainly because we can, right? Because 2 weeks ago we couldn't have an open house, so that's why you didn't see any. So relative to 2 weeks ago, yeah, we got a lot more. Relative to the market, it's still getting busier, and you're going to see more and more every single week, likely. Going through this summer, you're going to see a lot more.
I think it's a little early to determine, the effects on the market, but certainly on showings. Like I just talked to an agent and I went to showings and she had like 20 calls, on the same. So I think it's just the fact that people are out and out, they're released from, home lockdown. And so you're going to start to see the interest again. And I think it will start to just kind of pay, especially for the properties that are, desirable and if they're priced right.
Yeah, 100%. Well, even for us, right? For us, we have I think 13 listings coming on the market in the next 30 days.
Yeah,
so we're really busy, and that's a good sign. There's a lot of activity. Confidence is there for those who have jobs, actually.
Right.
But, there's a lot of folks out there.
Awesome. And hey, Facebook, we're watching you. Do you have any questions that you want to ask? Chat away. One more question. We were talking about Keller Williams. We are happy to be with Keller Williams and the technology and what they're doing to provide, not just for the agents, but really for the buyers and sellers out there. Helene had asked a question about Keller Williams in Hawaii. Is it multiple offices? What does that really look like?
Good question. So Keller Williams International is the largest real estate company the world's ever seen before. There's 180,000 of them, us agents out there. Gary Keller is the founder. He's still at the helm. In fact, he took over the helm back again, and he put $2 billion of money into technology, his own money. This guy, he's going to change the world. Basically, he's told us face to face, he's changing the world in real estate. And he's being able to do that by helping us with some technology and tools that we could not afford to build. So we've been very blessed to be on this journey with Keller Williams. And it's been an amazing thing. Where was I going with that?
Helene was asking, Keller Williams in Hawaii, are there?
In Hawaii, though, there's only, on Oahu, there's one. It's called Keller Williams Honolulu. On Maui, we have another one called Keller Williams Maui. There's one on Kauai. We're building one now on the Big Island to cover both portions of it. And yeah, right now that's it. We're actually on Maui, believe it or not, we're number one on Maui in agent count, unit count, and dollar volume. In 3 years, we were number one. On Oahu, we're number 3. I think there's 350 of us agents here. But we're only 6 years old, right? So we're a baby compared to these large organizations. But yeah.
Awesome, great. Thanks for the question. Yeah, and again, we want to have these sessions be interactive and engage with you guys and what do you guys want to hear and learn more about. So follow us, like us, share the content on Facebook, on Instagram. We do have, go back one more slide for me, Dan. We want to definitely talk about everything that you learned today. What does that mean to you? How do I apply? I might have specific questions, right? And so to sign up for a free strategy session, it's never too early to plan and get some information. Best thing to do, give us a call, 808-798-5549, or you can email me at carries@iharateam.com. We absolutely appreciate your feedback. We'll make sure to send each of you a little feedback form. We would love to hear, again, what you want to hear more about, how we can improve these. a challenge to Dan and the team. If we do go back to meeting in person, I would love to stream those things live.
Yes. Yes.
So the people that maybe
Yes.
are not comfortable at meeting just yet can still join us from home in a live format like this. That would be amazing.
Awesome. That's getting like the best of both, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
live. And, yeah, exactly what we're doing now. I think that's a great idea.
It's funny because probably about 2 years ago, people started asking me to do that, and I said, no, we don't do that. We don't, you know. Now it's like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we want to talk about pivoting.
Yes, we
Yeah,
do.
crazy.
Well, awesome.
So let us know. Strategy session specific to you. If you'd like to learn more about our tools, our search, or mobile app, and how to connect with Dan and Tiffany, call us. Let's chat about that.
Yeah,
Really cool stuff.
If you found this to be of value, please share it with those that you know. That would really, really mean a lot to us. If you could share our videos or our Facebook page. Thank you. And then we have, you want to talk about the site?
The site, iharateamhawaii.kw.com is our new site. And so, you'll find recordings of these webinars. And so, what did Dan and Tiffany say? What did they have for breakfast yesterday? I kind of want to remember what that was. That sounded good. Go back, go to our site, go to recorded webinars, and find the recording to find out what Tiffany had for breakfast yesterday. And you can find our virtual walkthroughs of our listings that we have. You can find our calendar of events. And again, our tool is getting you neighborhood specific data, and that may make all the, look at Chris's smile. We were talking about seeing him later.
He's always smiling, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Andy, yeah. Oh gosh.
I hope everyone got more out of this than my ensamada breakfast. Please. But thanks.
Any questions before we wrap up here today? We got 2 minutes. Anything you'd like to learn more of? Any ahas? Anything that was good to you?
Yeah.
That you want to hear more of, or we should share more of? If you could put that in the chat box, we'd really appreciate it.
May says that she loves your philosophy, Dan. Thank you, May.
Thank you, May. Appreciate that.
All right.
Tiffany, what's an ensenada?
And no, am I saying it wrong?
Bread thing, right?
Ensamada, yeah, it's like a Filipino pastry.
Butter bread, huh?
Bread, and it's just simple. Butter and sugar. Yeah. I was at showings on Cam Heights, and I drove past Liliha Bakery. So like Cocoa Puffs, ensamadas.
Awesome. Well, if not, I think we're wrapping up here. Any other questions? Yeah, feel free to reach out to us, guys, if you have any questions, comments. Some of you I know we'll see soon. And some we're actually already working with. So thanks, everybody.
Martin, I got your email. I'm gonna email you back. I got it.
Thanks, Martin. Great. Thanks, Helene.
Thanks, Helene.
All right, we'll see you guys. Have a great week. Actually, it's VA Saturday, right? So if you know a veteran who's thinking about buying, you probably want to watch this one. This is going to be really good tips for those who are considering buying, who have the ability to use the VA loan. I heard the other day, was that right? The VA loan, he got it down to like 2.75 or something.
Lower than that.
Yeah,
it was
really
2.5.
Interest rate.
2.5. Yeah.
It makes me want to go sign up and list.
Just for
I'm joking.
I don't think you would make it through, Dan. I'm sorry.
I don't think I fit real well in the military.
That'll be a great conversation. We'll have our military veteran Michelle Jones, our buyer specialist, on, and Jody Tonga with Pacific Rim Mortgage. I want to say they do the most VA loans in the state of Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're up there.
So if you guys have questions, join us on Saturday. Let us know, and we'll make sure that you get the Zoom link. That'd be a lot of fun.
Sounds good. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Have a great day. Today is Thursday the 18th, and it's 1:01. I guess we're done. Thanks everybody.
Good timing.
Thank you.
Perfect timing.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye everybody. Thank
Have a great day, everybody.